Three squirrels named Sam, Sally, and Sarah were different ages. They were 2, 3, and 5 years old. They all collected nuts and had 23, 27, and 50 nuts in their collections. Recently, they held a race to see who would climb a tree the fastest, and naturally, they finished in first, second, and third place. Based on the clues, match the squirrels with the number of nuts in their collection and their order of finish in the climbing contest. Okay? Honestly, I would say you don't even have to read the story from here on out. It's kind of self-explanatory in the setup. But basically, there's these clues here, and then this space down here is just workspace to kind of keep track of what you've learned. Okay, so the key is patience. You just have to go through each clue, figure out all the information you get from that clue, and then sometimes you have to go back through the clues as well. Okay, let's see. Sally was not the fastest climber. Look, I'm going to pause right there. I already got information. Here's Sally. She's not the fastest climber. Therefore, she did not get first place. Cross it off. She did not have the fewest nuts. Okay, so look, here's the number of nuts they each had. She did not have the fewest. And her age would be the result of subtracting Sarah's age from the oldest squirrel's age. Okay, that tells us that Sally is not the oldest squirrel. It also tells us that Sarah is not the oldest squirrel, right? Because we can take the oldest squirrel, subtract Sarah's age, and get Sally's age. So we can see Sarah and Sally must be 2 and 3. We're not sure which one yet, right? But it must be Sam that's 5 years old. And notice what I'm doing. Look, if Sam's 5, he's not 2 or 3. Okay, and I crossed off, right? I'm kind of just trying to spread my information as much as possible. Okay. The oldest squirrel was not the fastest climber. Hey, look, I know who the oldest squirrel is. It's Sam. Okay, Sam's the oldest squirrel. So if it says the oldest squirrel was not the fastest climber, here's the oldest squirrel, we're going to say, oh, Sam's not the fastest climber. Sam didn't get first place. And remember, I already knew that Sally didn't get first place. So now I actually know Sarah must have gotten first place, which means she didn't get second or third place. Okay, and it says, and the youngest squirrel was the slowest climber. I actually don't know who the youngest squirrel is yet, but look, I'm going to just make myself a little note here because the youngest squirrel is 2 years old, right? And that person is the slowest climber. That means they got third place. So I don't know who got third place yet, and I don't know who the youngest squirrel is yet, but once I find out one of these, I'll be able to figure out the other one, right? If I figure out who got in third place, I'll know they're 2 years old. If I figured out who's 2 years old, I'll know that they're in third place. All right, let's take a look. Sarah did not have the fewest nuts. Okay, so here's Sarah. She did not have the fewest nuts. So look, I'm going to cross off 23. And remember, we already knew that Sally didn't have the fewest nuts. So actually, we now know Sam has the fewest nuts. Okay, let's keep reading. Sarah did not have the fewest nuts. And if you added the number of nuts in her collection to another squirrel's nuts, the answer would equal the total of nuts in another squirrel's collection. Okay, so we can see that Sarah, right, if we add her number of nuts to another squirrel, and we can see 23 and 27 add to 50. But what this tells us is that she didn't have the fewest, and if you added it up, you'd get another squirrel's. So that means Sarah can't have 50 either, because we have to be able to take her nuts and add it to someone else's nuts. Turns out it's Sam's, right? So we know Sarah didn't have 50. That means she has 27, look, which means Sally did not have 27, which means Sally has 50. Okay? So now we have plenty of information. We know how many nuts they each have. Look, and we know who got in first place. We know that Sam is the oldest, 5 years old. And then this is still kind of the mystery, right? We know that the 2-year-old got third place, okay? Now, I could go back through the hints again, but look, I made myself this note. Let's see if I can do anything with this, okay? Because here's the thing. I actually already know Sam is 5 years old, so I know these two have to be either 2 or 3. And I know that the 2-year-old got in third place. Well, Sarah didn't get in third place. Look, I can see Sarah got in first place. So I know the third place person is 2 years old, so if Sarah got first place, she must not be 2 years old. Sarah must be the 3-year-old, which means Sally is the 2-year-old, which means Sally must have also gotten third place, which means she didn't get second place, which means Sam got second place. And this is what it looks like when it's done.